excited to welcome our guests, Randy and Bruno and Nicole. Thank you everyone for showing up to honor our LGBTQIA+ community.
Yeah, this is great that we're doing this here, by the way, really. I would have never imagined like talking about this to so many people, which is so cool. I have one story that actually, it's funny because I thought that leaving Lebanon was the solution, right? Like going up, I lived in Dubai first, where I was almost going to put in prison because I was holding a man's hand in a club one day. So I had to leave the country, basically. My father did all of these stuff to not let me go to prison. It was so dangerous, right? So I left and I'm like, okay, America, help me. And then I landed in New York, and it wasn't that I was insulated from homophobia and all of these stuff, right? It's everywhere. Like, it was at school, it's on the street, it's in the subway. It's like, okay, this is not really just where I am from. This is like a human thing, right? It's global. I came to Hawaii also. I feel it here. The work environment, I can feel it sometimes. And I teach yoga in my yoga classes too. When I meet clients at open houses, I hear some pretty cisgendered, heteronormative assumptions about me. And then if I say that I'm gay, they're like, oh, you don't look gay, as if it's a compliment. And I'm like, F you, like, what? Right? Like, these are things, by the way, that we should all be aware of. Yeah. Like, never assume that a person is straight or gay or trans just by the way that they look, because it has nothing to do with that. And I just have a short thing that happened with a person. It was a fellow realtor too. I'm not going to say who it is, obviously. Let's have them as a they, although they're not going to be happy about being referred to as a they. So we were talking, we're having a really nice rapport and everything. We're just meeting up, and they assumed that I was straight and started to ask me questions about like women and children and stuff, which took me back into like childhood trauma. I'm like, oh my God, I have to again like justify who I am and all of this. So I told them. And then they're like, oh, great. So I'm going to take you to shopping with me, and we're going to go and buy shoes together and stuff. And I'm like, I don't like shoes. I don't like shopping. It's so diminishing. It's just so like cliche. It's not even, I mean, it's funny now, obviously, but in the moment, just with all of that kind of underlying homophobia, it felt so aggressive. I'm like, this is not cool. That's not even funny. And then they changed their whole narrative of being like, no, I didn't mean to offend you at all. I accept you. They're very religious, by the way. So I accept you exactly how you are, and I have no problem with you, but God has. And I told them, it's exactly the opposite. You have a problem with me, and God has no problem with me. That's the whole thing that you're getting wrong. Like, if your religious leaders, or the way that you have, no matter which religion it is, as long as it's organized, as it has been filtered by men and women, if it is teaching you that a certain group of people is not worthy to be loved and needs to be changed, you have to question this whole thing, right? So that was the thing that I wanted to say about that, because I think it's very important.
Well, first, I want to say something that's very similar to what Bruno said, and that's that I can't wait until we throw out the damn closet. I mean, why do people have to come out of a closet? Straight people don't come out of a closet. Like, I'm so tired of this we have to come out concept. Look, I'm very along with Kinsey. Like, we're on a schedule, we're on a spectrum. Like, it's just, this whole concept is very strange to me, but that's because I've been immersed in this world for so long. Now, some of you I know are looking at me going, oh, she's got 2 gay dads. Like, she's cool. Yeah, now I'm cool. Now I'm cool. But 11-year-old Nicole sitting at her elementary school every Friday and having her openly gay dad come and teach the gifted children, and then have to deal with those children taunting and teasing me the rest of the week because they knew I lived in a family that was very, very different. I remember the moment that California passed the law where gay people could get married. And I said, thank you for accepting my family as an actual family. Like, we were real at that point, and it was so nice. What I want you to understand from that, though, is I'm sitting here, I'm not 11, I'm 52. That was 41 years ago. I'm perceived very differently now than I was 41 years ago. Yet my best friend, who's married to a transgender woman, is back at that stage where I was 40 years ago. And we have to be humans on the right side of history, and we have to respect everyone for who they are. And I think what's really important is we have to acknowledge that everyone is trying to do their best, and we have to try and do our best when we're dealing with things that may feel uncomfortable for us. And I think that's really important. And as 11-year-old Nicole, I would appreciate it if everyone would come from that perspective, the perspective of understanding. And Colette, like, bless you, girl, like, you make me want to cry. Like, just love the people you love and understand everyone's trying to do the best they can.
Well, you know, when it comes to understanding, I would not be where I am today if I didn't have the understanding of my family. The family support has been amazing. I hear a lot of people, I always felt I was fortunate because when I hear about back in the day, you know, when we were still in the 70s and 80s and the whole AIDS epidemic came about, it was a really tough time. I lost a lot of friends.
Here you go.
Thank you. When I think about that, I survived all of that.
Yeah.
Those were hard times when you lose friends at a very young age. And it's all just because of how they live their life. Even when I first moved to Maui, I was the first out agent that advertised in the gay paper. I like to say I'm a pioneer in that sense. When I moved here in the late 90s, they had a gay lesbian paper. They don't have it anymore, but they, you know, nobody was advertising for real estate. I said, there's a niche. Bitch is gonna jump on it. You know? I took a big risk because this is a small community. There's a lot of churches here, and I'm a spiritual person, but I knew if I advertised in that paper, a lot of things could happen. But you know what? I said, I'm from LA. You know, we LA people, we don't give a shit. I put my ad in that paper. I had to talk to my broker at the time, and they were Catholic and part of the St. Teresa's Church, which I used to go to, by the way. But they had a small brokerage, and I told my broker, I said, listen, I'm going to advertise in the gay paper. Is it okay with you? How do you feel about it? Because this is your company, and you got to feel good about it. This was in the late 90s. Nobody, like I said, there were no out realtors at that time. And he didn't know what to say. He just looked at me and says, Randy, his jaw dropped. He goes, I said, well, if you want the business, I'm going to get it. But if you don't, then I'm out. I just told him plain straight like that. I'm out. He goes, well, because his wife was the choir director for the church. So it's like, this is going to be exposed. But it was fun. I did it. He let me, he says, go for it. And of course, I brought in the business. My whole business started on working with that community. So I always say, know your superpower. Don't be afraid. And it worked. And so from that point forward, like in the next few years, more agents started advertising in the gay lesbian paper. I even advertised in Homes and Land as your proud rainbow connection. I was just like, let's stick it to them. Let's make it happen. Because this community is beautiful, but at the it's aloha, but there's also there's another side of it as well. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. So I always say, be confident and don't have any fear. You're going to be fine. Yeah. So work with that community. They're fun to work with, by the way. They're fun. Just know a lot of Broadway shows. Know the Broadway shows, know the latest in fashion, and you'll be fine.
I would like to say, first, just thank you guys so much for sharing. I am in escrow with one of your agents, and I really just enjoyed her so much that I am considering making the move. This really kind of defines my journey in the real estate industry here in Hawaii. So while this is a topic of something that we need to be aware of, we have a lot of things we need to work on in terms of how we're accepting each other, as human beings for who they are and what they look like and all that kind of stuff. So I just appreciate so much that this has occurred in my life this morning, this event. I have always kind of been looking for my team, my family in this industry. And I've been a real estate agent since 2017. I've never really found that. So I'm just kind of on my own. So, you know, now that that's really, really important to me and I'm stepping out, I'm like, okay, this is what I need to be doing and who I need to be connecting with. So thank you so much.
Never know. You have a family here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Colette, for everybody and everybody else who's here. This is just so awesome. I mean, I've been with Keller Williams since 2003. So this company has always been the rock of my business and my life. The relationships I've formed and the people that I've met all over the world in this company and the culture that we have, God, family, and business. And God can be whoever you want it to be. But that was extremely important to me when I came to this company. And yeah, we welcome everybody.